Let's do politics now. As prophecies and polls dominate discussions ahead of the NPP primaries, the Kennedy Agyapong campaign says neither will determine the final outcome. 11 prophecies are already circulating, 8 projecting a Bawumia victory and 3, including Prophet Elbernat's, favoring Kennedy Agyapong, while pollster Musa Dankwa insists his research strongly points to a Dr. Bawumia win. However, Kennedy's spokesperson, Kwesi Kwarteng, told Newsnight last night the campaign is focused on getting delegates to vote.
We respect his works. We respect also the prophecy that has come. But most important point that we have to let Ghanaians know that we are not banking our hopes on prophecies or polls. At the end of the day, if there is any greater pool, if there is any greater prophecy, the manifestation of that prophecy and the manifestation of those polls will be done by the 31st, by the delegates on the 31st of January, which we are confident will come out victorious.
And it's good to have in the studio with me, Kwesi Kwarteng. Great to have you on our show this morning.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning.
How's the campaign going?
Oh, so far, so good. We brought our campaign officially to an end, especially in terms of our visitations to the constituencies and our delegates. You know, our campaign was structured in 3 phases, where Ken himself visited the delegates and sold his message of hope, his message of rescuing the party.
Right.
Beyond that, the wife, Madame Christiana Agyapong, also made nationwide tour and also connected with the delegates. And I had the opportunity to also join Honorable Irena Toshiado. You recall, she was also formerly with Dr. Bawumia, but this time around she also switched camp. She's seen the wave. The call, the client call, that we, even in the spirit of revival, we need a new direction, new leadership, a bold and strong and courageous leader like Kennedy Agyapong. And so she has also taught the whole country also to campaign for Kennedy Agyapong. I had the opportunity to also be part of her team. So far, in terms of the constituency visitations, like I earlier said, we brought all of them to an end. And the rest is what I would describe as the D-Day operations. But we have to, I mean, those arrangements have to be done before the D-Day.
Where is Ken currently?
Ken currently is in Accra.
Okay.
Yeah, he's in Accra.
And you vote here?
Yeah, no, Ken will vote in the central region. That's his constituency, Ascent Central. So from there, he will make some stops at some few polling stations and subsequently, or voting centers, subsequently come to Accra, get a bottle of Coke and chill and wait for the results.
Well, prophecies are everywhere, mostly predicting a Bawumia win. Does the Kennedy Agyapong campaign believe religion should play a role in him winning this primary?
Contrary to this narrative, most prophecies actually favors Ken or Kennedy Agyapong. Maybe it depends on how you people recorded it. But if you had taken it from about 6 months, 8 months, a year ago, you realize that most of the prophecies really project Kennedy Agyapong to win. But of course, I mean, just like the polls, you may also have contradictory accounts or narrative. The same as the prophecies, the same God speaking in 2 different languages. Today, you have people saying Dr. Bawumia will win. Tomorrow, others are also saying Kennedy Agyapong will win. I'm yet to hear anybody say my former boss will win, but
who is your former boss?
Dr. Duchum or Engineer Kpandai Agyapong. But I mean, the principle is one. It's a 2-horse race. No 2 ways about that. We acknowledge that Dr. Bawumia is our main competitor. He's a man to beat. But we've run a very solid campaign, arguably the best campaign ever run by any flag bearer hopeful so far as our political history is concerned.
When you say you run the best campaign, what do you mean?
I mean, in terms of messaging, so far we are the only team that has demonstrated that we have a message that we are selling to the delegates. Kennedy Agyapong has been consistent and very clear. Like, give me power, how do you call it? Give me the vote and I'll give you power. So Kennedy Agyapong has always been consistent that if you give him the vote, he will give you power. But beyond that, he goes beyond power and then make a national promise, a national message. And that message is jobs, jobs, jobs. And that is clear, that is succinct. No other campaign, no other aspirant has been able to put his clarity on his message like that. I mean, I can throw a question. Do you, a journalist, you have been following the media space? Dr. Bawumia, for instance, is our closest contender. If I ask you the message he's preaching, it will be difficult for you to tell, unless maybe you call miracles and, I mean, use the usual PR and try to justify that he has a message.
Well,
but every Ghanaian
in this situation, I'm the one asking the question. So
yeah.
At this point in time, I mean, many view or, see Kennedy as a disruptive character, very confrontational. If he should win the primary, how is he going to, with that kind of character, prevent a division in the party?
The reality is that even in times like this, and the current circumstance and the current situation that we find ourselves as a country and even as a party, we need the personality, the character of Kennedy Agyapong.
Somebody who issues threats on media platforms. Even currently there's a case in court involving my CEO, Kwesi Chum. Such a person is the right person for us to...
We all have cases in court. The fact that I go to court doesn't mean that there has been a judgment against me. Court is not a chamber to...
You view that as a plus?
No, you see, the point is that I'm not sure we have argued anywhere that we are presenting a spotless candidate. As of now, I can have a disagreement with you on any angle, whether on civil angle or on any criminal basis. If you go to court, doesn't necessarily eliminate you or bars you from running for presidency. Trump was in court.
We're talking about the man's character. Somebody who reacts angrily. For the high office of president, you need somebody who's accommodating, not get angry and issue threats, almost at every instance,
Is a suggestion that the other four aspirants, none of them gets angry? Is that a suggestion?
We're not saying that. We're saying that this person has a certain composure, a certain, composure as in issue threats. I mean, my colleague, Erastus Asaridonko, has been a victim of that. Also, my boss currently, Kwesi Chum, and I'm asking... Threats
don't come in a vacuum.
For somebody who is seeking to be flag bearer of the NPP, and also somebody seeking to eventually become president, will such a behavior be a plus for his administration?
Let me tell you something. I'm not going to sit on TV and pretend on TV. When a circumstance and a situation requires threat, the right thing to do is to issue threat. And that is the kind of leadership that we need as a country. Context is very important. If we take the text out of the context, we'll be discussing the pretext. Do we have the opportunity to discuss the full subject matter? Ken don't just get up and issue threats. I mean, he's a reasonable person. He's a human being with conscience. As I came here, if nothing has happened, do I just issue threats to you? Certainly not. Threats will not come out of a vacuum. It will obviously come from a basis. So until we have the full opportunity to discuss the full subject matter, the full situation, I don't think it would be fair for us to say that, Ken issue threat. Especially when you say the matter is in court, as of now, the court has not even made a pronouncement on it. Assuming without admitting that we go to court, and the court says, Mr. Kwesi Chum, with all due respect, you are wrong or you are guilty. Would we come back to correct the same on a platform like this? So the point I am making is that we are human beings. We have our ups and downs. We have our strengths and our shortcomings, just like you and I, just like any of the 5 aspirants. But comparatively, if you compare all the 5 aspirants, their strengths, their shortcomings, I can tell you that if the conversation is about who can really win power for the NPP, and who can transform the socio-economic fortunes of our country through agriculture, through industrialization, through tourism, I am telling you that Ken is up there. That's the case we are making. We are not saying that nobody has said that we are presenting an angel to you. And indeed, if we are being very honest to ourselves and doing a lifestyle audit of ourselves, maybe somebody will look at you and say that, in church one day you did this, you don't qualify to be on TV. But you are doing a nice show, very nice journalist, doing a very good job here. But we cannot just look at people's feelings, people's views, and how people
are going to vote.
Essentially,
also,
exactly.
Elections is also about perception.
Exactly.
And you think, is he working on that? Or if he eventually wins the flag bearership nod, and is pushing to become president of this nation in 2028, he'll be able to, you know, swing or get swing voters to vote for him.
Let me be very honest with you. You see it. I mean, you see your description, which I'm not even able to.
No, not my description.
Your description, which I feel unfair about him.
On what
you see,
people are.
There are other people who also see those perceived description and character traits as positive and can be utilized by this country. People see Kennedy to be very passionate and pragmatic, very bold, very courageous, is able to challenge the status quo, disruptive, as you rightly stated. At a time like this, where enforcement of basic laws, like sanitation laws, like road safety laws, we are unable to fight galamsey. You cannot convince me, Kwesi Kwarteng sitting here, that we need a tie and suit president. No. We need the Kennedy Agyapong style of leader. We need somebody who can look into your face and tell that this is wrong. If you do this, you are fired. If you don't come to work at 8 a.m., you are fired. That is the kind of leadership that we need. We need a leader who will be angry at these people, at the same time create jobs. Angry for the wrong reasons. If you do something that is wrong, we need that leader who will not pretend. Who will not pretend like the Solomonic type of leader, baby kissing and trying to please everyone. No. We need that kind of leader who will be able to look into your face and tell you that, my friend, what you did is wrong. Our country deserves better. The youth are not getting employment. People are not getting jobs. We need to fix that problem. Not that kind of leader who always will come, speak nice English, be so nice to you. I don't know who defined those templates as a people. But I agree. As a people, you also have to balance with the culture and expectations of the people. That I do 100% agree. Ghanaians, generally, we are modest, we are very conservative, we are very calm, and there's a certain threshold that, I mean, people will expect that you meet. There is a certain standard. Right. Like I indicated, Kennedy has a strength, he has a shortcomings. I also know other candidates. People may see them as scam, but I've also had the opportunity to speak to people who say, no, they are weak. Those candidates are not able to challenge the status quo. Those candidates will just sign anything. Those candidates will collapse the economy.
What are you talking about?
Oh, I mean, I said other candidates. don't force me to get some bites. we are in the last phase of our campaign. But the principle is what is important. The principle is that ultimately, if you compare all the other candidates, you get strengths, you get their shortcomings. But at the end of the day, when you do a comparative analysis, you realize that at a time like this, the person that our country needs to fix the highest and the most basic problem that confronts us as a country, problems of corruption. Kennedy Agyapong has been in public service for how many years now? 6-term member of parliament. People have accused him he's doing contracts. Yes, nobody runs away from that. He has been getting contracts from different governments, even both NPP and NDC. But has there been a situation, even once, where anybody has said that, oh, Kennedy Agyapong took this contract, now and now we're this kind? Has there been a situation where anybody has said that?
There are also critics who say that he's not really brought development into his constituency.
They said what?
He's not brought development. He makes a lot of noise about what he does, the money he has, the companies he's built. Has not really brought real development to his constituency.
Well, what is the measure of real development? Because me, so far as I'm concerned, I am aware of schools that he's built with his own money. I am aware of his foodland factory.
In his constituency?
In his constituency, yes. I am aware of his foodland company. Of course, you may mention personal support that he's giving to people in terms of supporting their education, in terms of supporting them to build them up, establishing business and other things. Those ones I offered, I cannot make those references, unless maybe I have the opportunity to come back again. But come to think of it, what is the measure and what is the standard of measurement to conclude that Kennedy Agyapong has not supported his constituency? Kennedy Agyapong is running with his closest contender, Dr. Bawumia. Take Asen Central, also take Wale Wale, and let's do a comparison. Dr. Bawumia has been around for the past 16 years. 8 years as a running mate and 8 years as a former vice president, right? Kennedy Agyapong has also been around for 24 years as a former MP. Let's compare in terms of development rate, Asen Central and Wale Wale, in terms of the impact of these two personalities in their respective constituencies. Then we'll be able to make a fair judgment. Other than that, we'll just be making assumptions and speculations. We may not necessarily be situated within a proper context, but the proper context is, if we say Kennedy Agyapong has failed to develop Asen Central, compared to what? Compared to his closest contender. Who is his closest contender? Dr. Bawumia, who probably even had a higher position, a higher recognition, and a higher responsibility. Let's compare to him. Let's compare Wale Wale to Asen Central and see which place has been developed.
So the polls point to Dr. Bawumia, as you rightly acceded, that he is he's leading the polls.
Some of them.
He's leading the polls.
Some of them.
He's leading the polls.
Some of them.
At least the figures we've seen so far, he's leading the polls. Even you admitted just this morning that he's the man to beat. So I'm asking you.
I mean, certainly, because he's our closest contender.
So if it happens that Dr. Bawumia wins the flag bearership race, will your camp admit defeat and also support his bid to become, president?
Elections has two outcomes. There is no middle outcome in election. It's either you win or you lose. At the end of the day, you still have a party to protect,
right,
a country to develop. And I can sit on your TV and I'll show you that Ken has that track record, that even when he loses elections, he comes around to support not only the party, but the candidate. I give you the very recent example. If you recall, in 2023, even after Musa Dankwa has projected Ken to get 17%, when Ken in fact pulled 37%, which the media has still not discussed. And I personally believe that the weight the media has placed on Musa Dankwa, the data does not support it, is overrated. But now let me come to let me come to the substantive point. The substantive point I am making is that when Ken lost, he personally picked the phone, called Dr. Bawumia, approached him, asked him the role Dr. Bawumia wants him to perform in his campaign. And Dr. Bawumia subsequently asked him that he should join Napo, his vice presidential candidate then, to tour the country. Agyapong, from his own pocket, donated at least 100,000 Ghana cedis to 100 constituencies from his own pocket. This does not come from the party's funding structures. So, I mean, when people ask that, will this guy come around, assuming without admitting he loses, I refer them to that track record, that proven track record, the track record that Ken has always been leading most of the reconciliation efforts in our party. Recall the Fobina incident between Honorable Esiama and then the chairman there. It was Ken who led that reconciliation effort. So Ken has demonstrated that in terms of having that track record to unite the party, he has it. And the classical example and a very recent example is the 2023 one. So I always say that this question, maybe it's because I'm on the set, that's why you're asking me. But the best recipient of this question should be the Dr. Bawumia camp, whether or not after 31st of January, when they experience the shock of their life, especially when the party's delegates have taken an entrenched position to take a new path in a new direction, they would rather join Agyapong to come. The reason is that they feel Agyapong is unbefitting. They feel Agyapong is unpresidential material. But recall the case of David. David's ascension to the throne, in the biblical analogy, they also did not come unopposed.
Now you're referring to religion.
I mean, because I'm a Christian.
Initially, you said you're not, the prophecy that came.
No, I said that in actual sense, most of the prophecies actually favors Ken. But look, like I indicated in the voice that you played, as a team, we do not bank all our hopes on prophecies. Okay. I have been a science student throughout. It's very recently that I moved a bit to the humanities. I've been a science student as well. Okay. So I believe in research, I believe in science, I believe in data. But I also know that science and data may not necessarily be absolute, especially when the methodology may have its own criticisms. And that is a problem I have with Musa Dankwa. I respect him. He's done incredible job, except to say that in 2019, when he projected Mahama to get around 37 or so, Mahama had 43, so he had it wrong. Then 2023, he gave Ken 17%, Ken actually did 37%. And if you recall, the Akwetia one, he stood in the middle. He made projections in favor ahead of the election. The poll that came, it was in favor of the NDC candidate. But when he realized it was then tight, he also did an exit poll. So he stood in the middle. So that if it goes right, he is there. If it goes left, he is there. But what is the point that I'm making? The problem I have with him is that when you are a researcher and you put out a data, those are people's opinion that you feel that can reflect on the DD. You don't personalize it and make it look like, oh, I put my 7 years experience on the line. With 7 years, I've given 4 key researches that you've done. You failed in 3 of them. So what is this whole point about 7 years integrity on the line? You don't personalize it. you just put it down there that this is what the people are saying, this is what the data is saying. But when you make it so personal, people may feel that beyond that you have different agendas. Musa Dankwa has come his own Dr. Evangelia. I've also seen that of also favoring Ken. I've also seen that of Sanity Africa also favoring Ken. I've also seen one APL also favoring Bawumia. So these are contradictory positions depending on their methodologies. And of course, when it comes, it's the prophecies that I'm a bit shocked that the same God, different accounts. But look, my Messi, yes. I have had the opportunity to sit under the administration of Prophet Bernard Nelson. At least in 2017, I was there when he prophesied about Babu's incident to Babu's daughter. I was in that particular day. 4 years later, the prophecy manifested. So I have no basis to doubt him, especially as a Christian when the Bible says that believe in my word and believe in my prophets. I have no basis to doubt him. But like I indicated, whether the polls are right or whether the prophecies are right. Now people are saying the lesson is between Musa Dankwa and Bernard. At the end of the day, it's a 211,000 plus delegates that will make the decision. They are the key makers. They have the power to make a decision. And we have that confidence that they are poised for change and they are going to vote for Kpandai Agyapong.
So in 20 seconds, I want you to give us an elevator speech of those who are still critical about Ken's winning this poll. How can you sway their minds to vote for Ken?
You see, you know the bigger problem? No. The bigger problem is that you made Musa Dankwa's poll like the constant poll. The other polls that is also favoring Ken. So which of them are you discussing?
That's not what I'm saying.
You are discussing the general...
We actually did an aggregated poll, considering all the other polls that you mentioned and even some. And we realized that at the end of the day, majority of them goes for Dr. Bawumia with about an average of 51%. So let's just, stay with that. But you say that you believe, obviously, Ken is going to win because you I
can even give you the percentage on sets.
Well, we wait to see. On Saturday, we will know what will happen.
Well, you don't trust my pool. If it's Musa Dankwa who was giving percentage, I am telling you that we also have an internally sponsored pool.
I'm just a journalist asking questions.
Very well.
I also have the right to be, inquisitive and also ask those questions,
That's fair.
Yes, so that's fair. So we wait. I can't make a decision because I don't vote and I'm not interested.
No, I want to use your platform to tell Ghanaians what Kennedy will get.
Okay, tell us.
Kennedy will be doing between 52 to 54%. Brian, of course, Dr. Bawumia's performance will be a more contingent on how Dr. Brian performs. I hear he wants to do magic with he say kutu say bam on the elections day. Though, I mean, our people understand. You may not understand. If he's able to do that magic, yesterday I spoke to his people. If he's able to, and he's my good friend, we almost talk every 2 days or 3 days. When he's able to do that magic, which I think may cause a bit of displacement among some selected delegates, we are projecting him to do between 7 to 9%. If he's able to sustain up to 9%, what essentially means is that Alhaji will be doing 38%. The 38% prophecy that consistently Ghanaians has been given to him. Maybe for the first time we'll see his manifestation. So let's see.
And who did this poll, you or your team?
I'm also a researcher. I mean, even by mere observation, I've taught the whole country myself.
Okay.
I've taught the 276 constituencies myself. And I mean,
You made this while touring.
Yes, we have our internally sponsored polls or researches. We also do our own observation. And we are able to, even an observation is also a variable of research.
Right.
So when Musa Dankwa and Co try to make it like it's a mistake work, they should give us a break.
Right. Sit down. Sorry, I'm giving you his name. Sit down. Now you started doing your own poll. But thank you very much.
But we are confident of winning. That's why we are very confident of winning.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it pans out on Saturday, 31st January. And us, Kwesi Kwarteng, speaking for the camp of Kennedy Agyapong for the NPP primaries. You're still watching JoyNews Desk. We'll take a break. We'll be back with business.